Hi, I'm Tom, and it's about time for another video. I haven't stopped making videos, it's just been a while. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna make a bit of an update video on what I've been working on, what I'm currently working on, and just to get a video out there. It's not like I'm not doing stuff, it's just there's been some health issues in the family and myself, and everything's okay, we're all fine, and there's been a lot of things going on in life, but I can start making some videos again. Or rather, I can start editing some videos again. Because I have been recording a whole lot, and I've also been painting so much stuff. What you're seeing here is a little bit of a sample for my Heresy armies that I've painted. This isn't a lot, but it's because I've painted hundreds of figures for A Song of Ice and Fire. I finished my entire collection for that, all 3/4 armies, except for 2 new boxes that I just bought. But I think I'm pretty wrapped up with my collection after I'm done with those. I know that it isn't the main drive of the channel, but I'm gonna do some army showcases of those armies once I'm done basing them. I'm currently waiting on some grass and some tufts for the bases. But yeah, I'm gonna mainly focus on the Heresy content for videos beyond those army showcases. So there's so many projects that I've been doing. Many of them I have filmed, many of them I haven't. Stuff like adding more to my world eaters, for instance, such as I've expanded this tactical support squad with plasma guns. I've added another 4 to that unit. Like, I don't think there's a video there that's interesting for you and for me to spend the time editing and, yeah, being demotivated by no one watching it. Again, that's not the point of the channel, but it helps that people are interested in what I'm doing, I suppose. Likewise, I've added another 5 tacticals to a squad that I had. A 10-man squad, I wanted to have the option of expanding it to 15 and also have a Vexilla, so there's that. Again, not very interesting. Then there are some units that I've added, such as these Inducti or Inducti, whichever way you prefer to say it. I have recorded it, but I haven't started editing it yet because I want to add another model from the World Eaters side to that video to sort of tell the story of what Legion Inducti are and how that sort of foreshadows some things with 40k and the history behind it. And I want to do a conversion of Galen Serlak, sort of the man behind the whole concept of the Inducti, rapid indoctrinated space marines. So I want to do a conversion and add him to the video as sort of a guide through that. But also, of course, discuss these Imperial Fists that I've added. The considerations, the markings, the effects, the gameplay, all that sort of stuff. I've also added a unit of Seekers for my Imperial Fists. I've converted them or kit bashed them up from a whole bunch of different bits. From this distance it probably just looks like standard Mark IV dudes, but it isn't. So there's a video on that I also need to get edited. But then there's a lot of, like I said, just me adding stuff, and that's probably not very interesting. So I guess this is my way of conveying that stuff is happening. So for instance, I had a 10-man squad of heavy bolters. There's 2 guys here, as you can see. Let me just grab one of my project bins. So here's the old one, here's the new one. Well, the new one is just an overpaint. You can see this guy is a lot less vibrant in his colors, even though it's the exact same colors. He's also on some old basing and some stuff. So I wanted to update that, and this is just one of the squads I'm doing this with. So there's a whole squad that I need finishing, and the update process looks a little bit like this. There's a definite ugly face where I have to go back to white to build it back up to get it that vibrant. The reason why it's not that vibrant is because this is a GW primer, this is an Army Painter primer of white, and that makes all the difference. I'm gonna get into that in another video though, because I'm doing a video sort of for my future self, and I will get into that in that video. In that I've made a painting tutorial mainly for my future self of how I paint my Imperial Fists. And also I'm going to be doing one for my World Eaters, because once there's been a pause in me painting it for a couple of months, I'm like, did I do 2 or 3 coats? Was it this or that color? And which sequence did I do them in? So if anyone's interested in how I painted, I'm going to be making a painting tutorial. It's not going to be as fancy as all the painting channels, but it's, like I said, for my future self. And if anyone out there finds some useful tips or get inspired or want to copy it, then you're free to watch that, of course. Some other content that's coming is that I filmed a battle report with my friend Brian. I play Imperial Fists versus his Mechanicum, and it was a very interesting game. These guys feature in that, actually. I'm slowly getting through the edit of that. Sorry about that, Brian, that you have to wait. But you know how the game turned out. There's a bunch of other project bins that I have going right now. So let me just move some stuff and I can bring it in. Speaking of fixing up old stuff, that's sort of a theme. Finish everything. I'm also fixing up these Cataphracti. I think I'm gonna... They're all magnetized, and even the shoulder pauldrons are magnetized to the arms. I love the flexibility, and I have done the work, but some of the shoulders are a little bit wonky, as you can probably tell. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna glue some stuff, because I also have another 10-man squad to make for these guys. So when I have 20 Cataphracti, I don't have as much of an issue gluing some stuff to them. So that's the thing. I'm also going to be doing a couple of conversions. I don't have the other bits right in front of me. I'm going to do a couple of World Eaters characters. I'm very much looking forward to that. But I'm also going to be redoing this very simple conversion. This was a conversion of Captain Tyre, 7th Company Captain of the Imperial Fists. You can see he also has this dull yellow. So that's one of the things I'm going to be fixing. But I'm going to be adding lots of bits to him. And giving him a much nicer paint job and updated basing and whatnot. And a bigger weapon. I'll do a video on him. But long story short, this is the guy that's co-responsible for Perturabo having the Iron Circle. This is the guy that led the teleport strike on the Iron Blood with a whole bunch of Imperial Fist Terminators, and they made it to the throne room of Perturabo, and this was the last man standing against Perturabo. So yeah, I want to do him justice and update the conversion. So that will be a fun project. The theme for today, the day that I'm recording this, is fixing up and priming stuff. So these were the new additions to my A Song of Ice and Fire stuff that I was talking about. Some House Stark stuff and some House Lannister. You guys are not interested, and that's fine, but this is all that I need to paint up before I'm gonna do those army showcases. But move aside, peasants, because I'm priming a lot of stuff today. Here's one. And here's two Proteus carriers for my World Eaters. Some subtle conversions, but pretty box standard. Really looking forward to getting these guys painted. There was also some Huskarls that I'm going to be painting up for my Imperial Fists, bringing the squad up to 10. But these 5s are only with power weapons, so I can use a Huskarl squad without people whining about it. So yeah, those are currently drying in the shed. Alongside those, there's also a Typhon heavy siege tank drying. I'm so looking forward to painting that. And there's also, fresh off the priming stage, a squad of 10 Mark III tacticals, the old Mark III, but looking forward to getting these done as well, so I can run all tacticals as my troop choice. It's long overdue, so that'll be cool to get that done. And in a little bit of a state of disassembly, because I was prepping to prime this stuff, a support predator for my World Eaters. And I did manage to magnetize this one, so it has all the options of guns. Let me see, that was that one. Yeah, these are just random. They're probably not the right ones. But anyway, this one's actually a little bit wonky. I'll need to fix that. Though I doubt I'll use the flamer this edition. And then a Sakaran battle tank, also in a state of being prepped to prime once the batch I was talking about is dry and I can get these guys primed. Also out there is Endred Har, a World Eater slash Black Shields character. I'm going to be painting him up as a World Eaters character, and I'll just use him as a generic character for that. So that will also be fun. Not sure I'm doing a video on that, but you'll definitely see him. I've also progressed on my little debris and rubble crater project here. So had these that I made out of plastic card, and then my girlfriend did a very big batch because she thought that was fun, and yep, I enjoyed that. And these craters that I did as a little tutorial a while back, I used those in the battle report, and it turns out I need a whole lot more for the purpose that I'm using them for. So I'm making some more. There's plenty more in this box. I'm also doing a video that I've alluded to a couple of times where I play around with some sprue goo to make some more rubble instead of it just, let me grab a building. So a building like that with a blown out section. No one has swept the street here, so there's bound to be some rubble. Probably not this particular one, but you know, making these rubble piles. That'll be in a future video whenever I get around to finishing this project, painting it up, and then editing it. But as part of that project, I was also talking about how I was doing these casualties. So there's a casualty there. I haven't done that many yet. There's a casualty underneath some rubble. There's part of a dreadnought torso, all melted, and yeah, it'll look great when it's painted up with effects and weathering and whatnot. This would be cool. I'm really looking forward to adding this. I think it'll add a lot of immersion to the battlefield. I know it looks terrible right now, but I think it'll look great. And I've probably shown this off before, but also, you know, loads of casualties that I cast. So I'm gonna be doing rubble piles and stuff with casualties in them, so we can mark where significant casualties has happened throughout a battle, or just set the scene. I'm gonna grab the camera now, just quickly show off another couple of things that I've been working on. And then I'm not sure if I'm gonna do any voiceover towards the end. I'm gonna try and do minimal editing on this video, because that's really the annoying part. But towards the end, I have this big box that I want to get rid of. Let me show you. This one barely fits in on this tripod. Anyway, there's an overhead camera where I'm doing some time lapse. You'll be able to see the size there, and I'll hopefully edit it a little bit. It's a big box, as you can see, and it's just filled with sprues. This is basically what I call my inventory, or stock. There's a bunch of cool stuff in here. There's some more cataphracti, as I said. There's some of the new World Eaters. I'm going to be using some of these parts to mix into a Rampager squad. That I'll probably do a video on for the World Eaters. I do have some original Rampagers, but this is just to add some more two-handed chain axes and whatnot. So that will be cool. There's just some more Mark 6 dudes. There's also some heavy weapon sprues in here. There's a couple of characters. Vehicle sprues still. Just realized you can't see all the stuff that I've been holding up. Yeah, so what I'm going to be doing is just spend the next hour to whatever clipping all of this off of sprues and putting into bags this whole thing will probably be freed up, just replaced by a couple of project bags for whatever units I'm working on. That'll make me feel like I've progressed a lot too, and make more space in my storage for future purchases. Anyway, let me grab the camera real quick. So I decided to just grab my phone instead, as I'll have to do less stuff with that. So one of the things I'm also going to do a video on is my Imperial Fist collection for 40k, where I basically say bye to all of this. I'll go through it in detail. I'll do some showcases of some characters. I'll tell some stories of the origins of some of the conversions and some of the units and all kinds of stuff, because once I'm done recording that video, I'm allowing myself to view this as inventory. It is mostly going to be conversion fodder for bringing some stuff to 30k. All of this is Firstborn, except for a very small contingent of some Primaris stuff that was for Kill Team. So I'm going to transfer as much across to 30k as I can, not just as it is. I'm going to be giving everything a once over, updating the colors, updating the basing, updating the size of the base, swapping out some war gear, making it Heresy appropriate wherever possible. The stuff that's not possible, I'll just keep, and maybe I'll eventually do some retro style gaming and I'll use it there. Or if we're doing some Heresy rule set scenario battles, but set in post Siege of Terror, aka Scouring, I can probably field 1 or 2 Mark 7 squads. So that might be interesting. I'll do a whole video on that. It'll probably be very long, but I'll make it in sections. So first it's just, here are all the units and some close-ups, and then I can probably go into more detail for the people that are interested, and then I can go into anecdotes and whatnot towards the end if people are still interested. Anyway, it's a way for me to say goodbye to this. But yeah, what I'm really looking forward to, this is not a sad thing, this is a good thing. What I'm really looking forward to is adding that, and those, and these, and oh, where are they? Looking through a phone. And those, and a bunch of other things, and converting these to Heresy. That will be cool. And some characters. There's also some stuff here that... This was sort of the last of my 40k stuff that never got finished when 8th, 9th, 10th hit, and I just lost all motivation for it. Yeah. So, looking forward to this. Also, I finished all of this. This was the 3D Kickstarter terrain for the A Song of Ice and Fire game. But it works wonders for use in other systems too. It's very generic terrain. You can always use some trees and some walls or palisades or stuff. I use this a lot for D&D, but you can use some of this for battle reports too. Oh, also, I got a battle mat. I still love my 3D battle board, and I'm going to be using it a lot, but sometimes it's just easier to change the scenery up real quick. And it is double-sided, so variation. Speaking of terrain, I also did an overhaul on all of my Warhammer terrain. There's a lot more than is on this table right now. And I gave every single piece a once-over to bring them to the same standard. So the same standard of highlight, same stage of weathering, rust, dust, everything. So all of it now looks and feels like it belongs together. None of it is just base coated and washed while other stuff is highlighted. It's all great, and that was nice. Because now I don't feel bad for just grabbing random terrain whenever I want to do a battle report. I don't have to worry about close-ups. Not that people notice that stuff, but I do. So that was nice for me. Oh yeah, final update. One of the things that I'm really wanting to do and finish is my Zone Mortalis board and my campaign map. But the laser cutter that I have access to has been under maintenance for a month and probably will for another month, so I can't finish that stuff. So it's temporarily on hold. It's not that I don't want to do it. I really want to do it, but there's no point in me working on that stuff when I can't progress the stuff that's going on screen. That'll pick back up whenever that gets fixed. It's a volunteer organization, so someone who has that knowledge has to volunteer his time to get that stuff fixed, and I don't have the expertise, so I can't do it. So I'll just have to be patient and work on all of these other things that I've shown off. I'm gonna go take care of this, clip all of this off the sprues. That will reduce this to almost nothing. And then I can quickly progress through some of the projects in here, which I'm also looking forward to. Not that I'm running out of projects, obviously. There's plenty. For those of you that stuck around for this video, I know there's not a lot of you because these update videos never get a lot of views, but if it somehow inspired you or got you interested in some of the stuff that I will eventually get edited and posted, then awesome. Thank you for sticking around, and thank you for watching this. And I'm hyped to get some more stuff done today. I'm gonna go prime some more stuff now, and then clip that stuff off this sprues, and yay, good stuff. As I had mentioned in this video that I was going to clip stuff off the sprues and feel productive, which I did. There wasn't any natural way to end the video with that, but I'm gonna have a bit of a time lapse of that running while I just very briefly talk about the Heresy 3.0 stuff, because that's leaked in between me recording this and when I'm recording this voiceover at the end now during editing. There's a couple of things that I'm not super keen on, and I could do a whole video on that, but right now YouTube is spammed with people reacting to it, so people probably won't view my stuff on it. Anyway, that's not gonna stop me. I am, if nothing else, really hyped about doing some Heresy 3.0 content. I'm nowhere big enough for Games Workshop to have noticed me, so I'm not gonna get any advanced copies of this. But I'm gonna try and pre-order it as soon as I possibly can, and when I get it, I'll do 1, maybe 2 units, depending on what I feel like and what the rules are and all that, and I'll try and paint it up as quickly as I can without sacrificing the level of quality to match the rest of my armies. And then I want to do some battle reports to showcase some of the new units as soon as I can. That means I need to commit to actually edit it right away instead of procrastinating on that. Fortunately, I have a little bit of a Heresy group. They seem keen to record some stuff as soon as 3.0 drop. And the best way for me to learn is to teach others. If I have to convey the information to someone else, that means that I need to study it first. So what I'm trying to say is that I think I want to do some kind of rules update tutorial, how to play, something on that spectrum whenever Heresy drops. Like I said, if nothing else, then for me to learn the rules and absorb them instead of just skimming over the pages. So I'm hyped for that. I'm also hyped for Mark II, and the Saturn 9 stuff is growing on me too. I think as long as the rules are decent, it should be a good addition. There's stuff that I wish they would prioritize and listen to some of the feedback of the community, but I can do separate videos on that for days. Anyway, that's a little bit of quick commentary on that stuff, and I look forward to seeing some rules previews and also to know if the current books are still valid or not, or if we're gonna get updates and all that stuff. And I just want to throw it out there that one of the things I'm really hoping for in 3.0 is for Imperial Fists to get nerfed into the ground. I have no problem if they want to give them the worst Legion rule. I will still be playing them, and I can play them with a guilt-free conscience and no annoying comments about the Legion. Just let me play the Legion that I like without them being stupidly overpowered and having everything. Okay, I put my wish out there in the ether. Hopefully that turns out to be a thing. But for now, I'm gonna round off this video. So this is the result of me clipping everything off the sprues except 3 characters. It's just easier having the character on the sprue. so I don't mix up the parts before I need to use them. But yeah, this is all of it in just project bags. On the time-lapse you probably saw me gluing together the bodies, especially the monopose bodies that only go together in one way, or here the legs. Yeah, that way I just know that I'm ready to build on top of the bases of them. This entire box was filled to the brim and then some with stuff, so you can really reduce stuff if you do it like this. This was the mountain of sprues that was in that box. Quite a reduction, I would say. I think I kept you for long enough. Thank you so much for watching along with my hobby ramblings. I will see you soon, and I will go and attempt to finish editing that battle report. See ya!